Let's fucking go, it's playoffs time. Boom. Linking X2 here with T1 versus LIIV Sandbox in the LCK playoffs. It's getting hyphy, it's getting spicy. So, T1 with the last win in Africa versus Nongqin are now more or less down on the road to Worlds. They have to win this one to get better chances and obviously get Faker the 10th LCK Championship title. So, in this draft here, jumping right in. But this is an important match for T1 to get back on the Sandbox. LIIV Sandbox has won both games in this summer split. Can't have that. Now we get the revenge in the most meaningful match. But before we get right into the draft, don't forget to hit me up with a like and subscribe to not miss out on all the future T1 playoff content, right? So, let's get right into the draft here. Oh, we get the Viego. Okay, Viego obviously not low in priority and can obviously be flexed into the top lane and into the jungle. So that's obviously super good in that context. Here on the other side, Salmon gets this Gnar, one of his more staple picks in his career. Going to lock in the Diana here as well. So that's obviously, the jungler in this meta. And then we get the Kennen lock in and Kennen versus Gnar, that's bound to be interesting, and it also locks Viego into the jungle, so we lose that flex pick potential. It's not that bad though. And Asia lock in, revealing your mid lane matchup here way too early. Ooh, Prince, wow. Throwing down the gauntlet with the Kalista pick. So Kalista obviously quite in a good spot, and with LIIV Sandbox going for a more overall early and mid game brawlery team comp here. Kalista with his ultimate, very powerful. T1 responds with Ashe Leona, so Ashe obviously against Kalista. Not the strongest lane bully, but with a W, with a slow, always a nuisance for Kalista. And T1 with Kennen, Azir, Viego, they have follow-up engage, but not really hard engage. Leona also on the side, works perfectly. LIIV Sandbox, well, effort again comes with the Alistar. He wants to steal our Barons again. He wants to steal our Barons. Come then, effort. Come then, effort. Try to take our Barons. We're going to take all the Barons this game. And let's go over the draft here more in general. Kennen versus Gnar in the top lane, obviously. That's quite the spicy matchup. Range versus range. Red. We have to see how that turns out. Both teams usually roam to the top side, so it won't be a fair 1v1 in most cases. In the jungle, Viego versus Diana, already mentioned that both champions scale very well, both champions gank very well. It's going to be very fucking epic. In the mid lane, one should not really underestimate what Azir can do with a bit of lane pressure from the jungle, even though Lucian obviously is more likely to have the advantage in that department. In the bot lane, Kalista Alistar against the Ashe Leona, also very powerful level 2 and even arguably a better level 1. If T1's bot lane plays that out correctly, they're bound to get the pressure early with level 1 pushing, getting fast level 2, having the pressure in that department. That's going to be great. And then afterwards, like scaling wise, obviously T1 outscaled the Sandbox by quite a lot. Wait a second, and we get Prince Flash, and Teddy gets first blood. Yeah, boom baby, that's what I'm talking about, that's what it's all about. Nicer! But regardless, in the teamfight stages, both teams obviously have huge teamfight ults. So even though T1's champions do scale way better, LIIV Sandbox still has the teamfight tools to then make comebacks, or if they are ahead enough from the mid game to still be oppressive and still be dominant. Taking that all into account, I still have to say, especially here with the early level 1 kill, T1 is in a good spot. Are they in an advantage? I think the mid lane 2v2 is quite unlucky for them with the late game scaling advantage. I think that's something. So personally a bit of a tiny edge here for T1, but I could see how LIIV Sandbox is managing to snowball the game and then stay ahead. Right now we're going to watch the game, going to crack a cold one open. The smell of victory, T1's victory that is. And we will see each other in game number 2. And hopefully with a T1 dub. So, till then. Welcome back in game number 2 in our LIIV Sandbox T1 series. T1 leading the score 1-2-0 after, nearly perfect game, completely demolishing LIIV Sandbox, left to right to top to bottom. Teddy, well, if anyone was ever worried, I was not. After Teddy completely dismantled the bot lane, nearly 100% kill participation, complete great performance from T1's bot lane to the top lane. Great team play as well. Macro, we know when T1 is ahead, they don't let go, they don't let go, they don't let it go. And they completely choked and twisted LIIV Sandbox to the ground. Sides switched, T1 now on red side, Sandbox now on blue side, as you see on the screen. What will the adaptation be? Again, ban Jace against Canna. I think that's always a smart move. Then banning away the Leona and the R0. So their adaptation is, yeah, 2 bans against the last T1 comp. Now they picked up here the first pick, Diana, prioritizing her over the Viego. And next to the Viego, it looks like we're going to see FAKERS LeBlanc. And Faker has like a 78% win rate on LeBlanc. Pretty confident here in getting the W. So here, what's the LIIV Sandbox answer going to be? Dinar again for Summit. He probably was the best performing member of Sandbox. Next to that, they lock in the set here against FAKERS LeBlanc. So yeah, the man on the screen here, Faker, probably going to be fine. T1 considering the Irelia. Irelia obviously a known counter pick into Nar, if not one of the strongest. But yeah, okay, I don't like that. That's not good. Why are you picking Kennen here? What? Why? So Irelia against Set, usually not the greatest matchup. 1v1, Irelia outscales Set so in the later stages she's fine there. Yeah, picking Kennen now into Nar top lane. So we see the exact same thing, but with the difference now that lanes are swapped. So diving the blue side in Nar with Viego Kennen is going to be way harder than doing that on the red side. That strategy is not going to work as fine. With Set already in the mid lane, Sandbox has a way sturdier team. The burst damage of LeBlanc and Kennen already diminished, right? And yeah, another AP source is going to diminish LeBlanc's AP damage as well. Everything was fine till we saw the Kennen, right? I think I really would have just been the better pick here overall. Then we see the Aphelios being locked in for T1. They lock in the Aphelios over the Thresh. So yeah, LIIV Sandbox going to pick the Jinx Thresh for themselves. I don't know what T1 was thinking there. Pick the Thresh first and then pick Aphelios. What are you thinking about? Now, like also with Tomcatch being banned, only Braum left available. But that's not an issue. Braum is super overpowered and super strong. So let's look at the comps here. We have Nar versus Kennen again in the top side, but now Nar is way more safe in his early levels where he is weaker due to the layout of the blue side terrain. Diana Viego, same jungle matchup again with the same top 2v2. So yeah, we're going to see similar action probably there. Set versus LeBlanc mid lane is going to be yeah, quite uneventful, I think. I mean, Set's not going to do anything to LeBlanc. LeBlanc's looking to shove him in and then roam to either top with yeah, Mininar being an available target, or roaming down to the bot lane where yeah, there's a Jinx that you need to stop from scaling. Jinx obviously versus Aphelios, both are hyper late game champions. Both bot lanes, even for the teamfight stages, are set up for success, even though there are some difficulties alongside it. Who would I give the advantage to? I would say LIIV Sandbox has the easier to play comp. The comp that rushes in and yeah, has like go engage buttons, usually the better one. Problem is here with LIIV Sandbox, their only like linear engage is more or less like Diana Nar. That's decent enough, but it's not like reliable press button engage like a Malphite provides. Then they have follow-up engage. LIIV Sandbox, I feel they have easier tools than T1 in terms of execution, but it doesn't mean that the comp is like, yeah, way stronger or has a way easier job. Late game scaling and other aspects, T1 has the advantage, right? Set the later stages. Yes, his ultimate is still super powerful, but his impact is a bit less than yeah, what a LeBlanc might offer with yeah, 6 items bursting down one of the many squishies of LIIV Sandbox team. So this time it's a bit in the air who is actually here at an advantage. So then everything that's left is just to grab the drink again, take a sip, lay back and enjoy the damn show, right? Let's see T1 get that second dub and yeah, move one step closer to the Summoners Cup and to FAKERS 10th LCK title. So yeah, we at least get one more game even if T1 managed to get the dub. And what am I talking? But even T1 has that in the bank, trust it. Even though Jinx Aphelios is 8-2, doesn't matter. Believe in general Teddy and believe in T1 because we will see each other just around the corner. Hello and welcome in game number 3 of our T1 LIIV Sandbox series. I'm still drinking my drink. And T1 is still continuing to win. It is 2-0 in our series, and we're back with the same side selection as in game number 2, where we have to say T1 dragged out the game quite a bit, doing some poor macro decisions in terms of how they handled the Drake situation. In the end, it all worked out perfectly though, and that's what matters. But let's go into this draft, and you already see Viego being locked in, so LIIV Sandbox here doing a bit of adaptation. If we look at the bans, Canna again being banned out, but then the adaptation from game number 2, banning the LeBlanc here next to the Azir, so doubling down on targeting Faker. Okay, you can try that. Faker has the ability to play every champion, so that's not worrisome. Viego being locked in here as mentioned, so T1's answer is Nidalee, and now locking in the Leona. So usually with the Nidalee you would have seen the Renekton, but T1 banned that themselves because why ever? They still think Renekton is a good champion. So here with the Leona being locked in, T1 now has the ability to make the proactive plays I just was talking about. So LIIV Sandbox here has a wide variety of options. As they teased, they could lock in the Aphelios Thresh bot lane, and it seems that's what they're going for. Yeah, T1 answers with the Varus. So Varus Leona against Aphelios Thresh. We see a Nidalee, and Leona Varus now being locked in for T1. So again, with a fairly decent to strong mid-game comp here, having some teamfights tools, and with the Leona obviously having the potential to be way more proactive. Yeah, on the flip side, Kennen and Sylas being locked in here for LIIV Sandbox. So Viego Sylas going to steal everything T1 has, which is fitting as Sandbox has stolen Drakes and Barons from T1 all over this year. But what is this man in the mid lane going to lock in? He's on the screen, and you see he's considering the Orianna. Orianna obviously a great champion of his, is second or third most played champion. I think Ryze has overtaken her, or maybe he's close to that. Kennen, Gnar, Viego, Nidalee, Sylas, Orianna, Aphelios Thresh versus Varus Leona are matchups. In the top lane, again, we can expect Gnar to do fairly well against the Kennen, as we have seen in the 2 games prior. Viego versus Nidalee, first time we see a different matchup here. It is a bit strange that Oner values the Nidalee over the Diana. Maybe there was an issue in communications, they thought Diana was banned. Maybe they were going for something else, but the Diana is a bit better. The difference though is that Nidalee has the poke advantage in the mid lane, Orianna versus Sylas. That's a matchup where Sylas is doing fairly well. Obviously, Orianna will have a bit more pressure in lane due to the range and shove advantage. But Sylas with high magic resistance in his kit and sustain, even though that was nerfed, is still doing fairly well and has a bit of an easier time in the skirmishes, right? Sylas is a champion that is made for skirmishes alongside the Viego. Like, this is like nearly the best skirmishing champions that you can have. So maybe this time with these 2 very, very clear-cut skirmishing champions, maybe they can make use of that and attack T1's mid jungle. In the bot lane I mentioned again, LIIV Sandbox has a bit of a stronger duo on paper, but one should never really underestimate the simplicity that is Varus Leona in the skirmishes. Obviously, again, short recap, LIIV Sandbox has the advantage, no cap, but in the team fights it will be a bit more interesting. T1 has a bit more team fighting tools. T1, they have not much of a front line. Mega Gnar is situational, and Leona as a support. So then LIIV Sandbox with their skirmishing and high damage champions can do their worst. So in the end, who would I give the advantage to? Again, I would go with LIIV Sandbox here, because simply their comp has a clear-cut way to win, or more easy to execute, I feel like. And then on the flip side, T1, they have great tools. Look at their top, mid and bot. They have great poke and range. So if they hit their abilities, then LIIV Sandbox with more linear engage options, which are like running into the enemy team, could have a harder time. So again, I think T1 has not a bad comp. I think the comp advantage that LIIV Sandbox has is just because it's easier and more straightforward to play, which is usually in these higher pressure situations a great thing to have. So in the end, with a small advantage in my personal opinion, based on ease of execution, LIIV Sandbox starting decently well into this third and probably last game. Right, T1 here going to get the W on the back of the man, the myth, the legend, Faker himself. Hopefully that was visible. And we will see each other then with a short recap, probably right after this. And maybe, probably, hopefully not in game number 4. But wish you all a great time with this game. If you have not seen it, and pause the video or whatever you're doing, do fine. The taste of victory. That will be coming to T1 just in a second. So, see you around. Boom, baby! That's what I'm talking about. That's the 3-0 for T1. Now they advance into the next round. And with all the championship points being gained, they are absolutely secured into the regionals should they fail. But they're not going to fail, they're going to beat either Genji or Downward. Downward obviously has the choice on their next opponent, either Nongshim or T1. So after today's series and yesterday's series, it will be a tough decision. Both teams, T1 and Nongshim, have high heights, but also show some weaknesses, so it's not really a clear choice. I would obviously always pick Nongshim rather than T1, because I think T1 is just better, because T1 obviously number 1. But yeah, moving future playoff series to the side, you're going to see that online regardless. So third game, again, similar issue with the second game, getting a huge lead early and then losing that throughout the game. Obviously that's not nice, and this time T1 even had a more proactive team. Yes, their team against LIIV Sandbox skirmishing and broadly comp is not the greatest matchup, but overall that must go better in the future. So with the 3-0, T1 advances. We're going to see each other in future series. So if you like today's content, yeah, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to not miss out on future stuff. So till next time, stay safe, see you around.